Meditate, manifest, invest in you. Join me on my spiritual journey as I elevate myself and like-minded listeners to a higher level mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thank you for listening. This is Black Hippie Lounge, and I am your host, Chanel. Good morning. So this episode is called Shadow Work, and it has to do with shadow work, but it's from a post that I saw this morning. And so it's just I'm just gonna read the post and kind of talk about it. But if you don't know what shadow work is, it's basically, actually, let me find a definition really quick so I'm not making something up. But it has to do with spirituality, like not really spirituality, but just spiritual growth. And So shadow work involves getting in touch with the parts of yourself that you've repressed, or what many might refer to as their dark side. It's also called shadow work. It involves diving into the unconscious material that shapes our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. So typically, shadow work can be done anytime, but now we're still in Mercury retrograde. So sometimes your shadow work occurs then, bringing up things that maybe you have repressed. So I want to get into the post. So it says, shadow work looks like, so there's different things that it looks like, and I'll read each one and explain each one, and I will also post this on my Instagram. So the first one says, shadow work looks like accepting that the unknown is where you grow the most. So again, everyone can do shadow work at their own time, and it looks different for every person. So for me, some things might resonate and some things might not for you. So the first one, like I said, accepting that the unknown is where you grow the most. And I definitely feel like that is true. When you're, especially like right now, I feel like I'm in a transitional phase, and with that comes the unknown of what's going to happen next. It's slightly unknown because I feel like at the same time, because I'm so in tune with myself and with the universe, and praying to God and everything, and having faith in myself, and knowing that God is like always going to be working in my life to get me where I need to be, that although it's unknown to me, God already knows. And right now it's just God is working on me to get us ready for the unknown to us, but he already knows what it is that's coming, and you just have to do the work to grow before you can get there. God is shaping you, but with that comes the shadow work of letting go of old habits, old feelings, old remorse, old grief, anger, because those things you can't bring with you. Like I always say, pack light. That's like letting go of things from the past so that you can be able to go into your future and be open-handed and ready to receive everything. Because if you're holding on to other things, that takes up space for you to gain the things that you deserve. So the next thing says, it looks like finding your breath when your blood boils. Ooh, okay. So that's a good one, because sometimes when you are getting close to your manifestations and the next things for you, the devil, or just like, the devil, but the evil side of things, trying to go against the universe, will kind of test you to see, if you're really ready for what you say you're ready for, if you've really grown as much as you said you have, and trying to test you, bring you out of your character. That could be in various ways. And, finding your breath and making the conscious decision to to make a better decision than what you normally would have, or resorting to anger or feeding into negativity, versus just like taking a breath, letting your, self calm down and being the bigger person. Or not even, for me, it's not even about being the bigger person. It's about, that person is not worth me getting out of character, because I'm already ahead of you and I'm already I already know where I'm going. I'm focused on my goal. So derailing myself by entertaining you is not worth my time. You're not going where I'm going anyway. So it doesn't matter. You're a non-factor, so learning to like think like that, but still behave in a way that demands respect for yourself, but also like not feeding into something or someone who's trying to give you negativity, because it's not worth your time. That's another way of working on shadow work and showing growth, because you're maturing. Another one, it says being misunderstood and becoming okay with it. That's another one, because sometimes you can feel like when you're doing this work and it can become lonely, because if you're constantly doing the work and those around you are not choosing to do so, then it's like this sermon that I actually listened to Sunday before work. I think I've mentioned him before, but Jerry Flowers, and he's on Apple Podcasts. He has an Instagram too, but he talked about, this, like being misunderstood and being okay with it. And he always references when God is working on you and you're choosing to work with God on yourself and to get yourself to the higher self and do God's work and what the mission and what, God put you on earth to do, then it kind of like, he relates it to life being on an elevator, and some people can't go to the next floor with you. And sometimes those people will be the people that you never thought you wouldn't be able to go with, like friends and family, and, because they're not meant to be on the path with you, or, they can only go so far with you, and it can make you feel misunderstood, and it definitely can hurt your feelings and make you feel lonely, or feel like why isn't this person choosing to do the same? But you have to be okay with that, because your life is your own. You came into this world by yourself and you're going to leave by yourself. So you still have to, it's all about staying in tune with you and your soul, and doing your soul's purpose and doing what God has asked you to do. So, shadow work can look like learning to deal with the fact that, you're misunderstood, but that's okay, because Jesus was misunderstood. Like, a lot of people that have done God's work on earth were misunderstood at first. Same thing, like, he was talking about Noah, like Noah's Ark, and how Noah was misunderstood, and they kept, basically saying that he was like full of it, and like, it's not gonna rain, blah 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 blah. But then when he was making the ark, and they're still like making fun of him and like saying, you're wasting the time and everything, and he's doing that, he's making the ark, he bringing the animals on and everything, blah blah blah. Fast forward to when the first couple drops started coming, and then all that rain came, and he's on the boat, and now everybody's knocking like, I want to come on, like. That's like an example of like they misunderstood him and they judged him for it. But he had to learn, because he wasn't okay with it at first. Like God had to like talk to him and just, keep pushing him and be like, no, stick to the plan, stick to what I'm telling you, and have faith in me, have faith in yourself, that I would never lead you to a place where, or lead you to do something that isn't conducive to what is going to be helpful to you in your life. And fast forward, he needed that ark, he needed the boat, so luckily for him, he chose to follow what God said and not allow people who misunderstood him to derail him from his purpose. So, and he became okay with it. So, I feel like he became more okay with it because the more he chose to be in tune with himself and to talk to God, the more you chose to pray on it and allow God to work on you and lead you, even when you don't know where you're being led to, that, having faith that it's going to be for a greater purpose in your life, then you're allowing yourself to do the work and, bring to fruition what, God wants for you. So another thing, it says shadow work looks like revisiting your why over and over again. So that's an interesting one. Revisiting your why over and over again. I would assume that could be multiple things, but in my understanding for this context, I would say revisiting your why could be like why your purpose. It could be revisiting, like maybe you've recently discovered what your purpose or had an idea of what it is, but you're also not sure completely. So revisiting it over and over again, maybe like thinking about it repeatedly and trying to really figure out why you're feeling called to do something, I would assume. And yeah, I would have to come back to that one, to be honest. There's no explanations actually with this post. It's just posted. So I guess it's like self-interpretation. So another one is learning to be patient with your progress. And that's definitely, I think I talk about that often, like being patient and trusting the process, even when you don't know when it's going to happen. Like it's like that feeling of knowing what you want and it's going to happen, but you just don't know when. And you have to be patient with the process. And that can be hard for humans, because we aren't, especially in this day and age, because everything is so quick and ready-made, and you can order online, you can pick it up in the store, you can order ahead, you can have it delivered. So when you have to wait, it's like, whoa, what do you mean? Like, what am I waiting for? If I know I want it and I know that it's going to be good for me, then what do I need to wait for? But 9 times out of 10, when God has you waiting, it's for a reason, because he's working on getting the everything else around your manifestation ready so that you can have the best of the best. So definitely that's something, like working on shadow work is like learning to be patient and trust the process and trusting yourself. And, also that can be when you have to be patient. That can be sometimes when it's even happened to me recently. That'll be when, the evil part or the devil can kind of come in and try to be like, oh, well, you're still not here. I thought you asked for that. Like I thought you prayed on it. How much praying do you have to do to get to it? And, and then it's kind of get into your head and get into your emotions. Like, all right, well, is God not going to give it to me? Am I not deserving of it? Like you can kind of start questioning like, oh, do I deserve what I'm asking for and stuff? And it can't let it do that, no matter what. Like even if it starts to happen like that, catch yourself and bring yourself back to the the person that has grown spiritually, to know that you walk in faith and you walk in knowing that everything that you desire you will have, and you are you're walking with God, and God is going to give you everything that you deserve and everything that you need in your life, and there's nothing that can stop that. And even when time is an illusion, we are, as humans, we use time, and that can get the best of us as well, because we think in terms of like, oh, it's been this amount of months or this many years, and why hasn't this come yet? Is it gonna come? And I'm getting older, and what does that mean? Is it actually gonna happen? And then it's like you're being told by society, oh, you have to do it this time, or you're gonna lose your window type of thing. But time is an illusion, because there is no time with God. It's God. There is time, but it's God's timing. It's whenever divine timing, when it's the right time, everything will come to fruit, come together. So, learning to be patient with the progress is very important, and not allowing yourself to get distracted with doubt and worry and anxiety and fear, because that is those are emotions that and vibrations that you're putting on your body, and then it's pushing away the very things that you're praying for and manifesting. So always walk in light and in faith and positivity, and knowing that you are going to get what you want and you are on the right path. You have to pay attention, like I always say, to the signs, whether it be, a random song or a random message or someone randomly telling you something, or paying attention to angel numbers, or, little things like like butterflies, or some type of, random thing that's not necessarily, that makes you go, aha, like paying attention to those things. Those are signs from God, the universe. So shadow work can also look like questioning yourself until you learn to trust yourself. So again, it's learning to get rid of these ideas of like timelines for your life, and whether you're, everybody does it, question whether you're not, like, am I doing the right thing? Am I on the right path? And why is it taking so long, or why is it so difficult? And especially with, like I say today, you have social media. A lot of people post, but everybody posts the good. Nobody rarely posts the bad stuff too. So when you are in that space where you're like, oh, I've been praying for this to happen, or I've been manifesting this, and but you go on social media and everybody and their mama like has that already happening for them. You're like, dang, like, am I doing something wrong? Am I on the wrong path? Like, why is it taking so long for me? But I don't know if I've ever shared this on the podcast or shared it on my Instagram, but there was this story that I saw, or like this post about this guy comes into the restaurant and he orders the food, and there's another group of people who ordered food as well, and their food comes out pretty quickly, but the guy, he ordered his food first, and the other people, they ordered after him. They get their food before him, and they're being obnoxious about it, and they're just like showing off and like, oh, showing off, flaunting their money, or just flaunting the fact that they got their food first. So then more people around the same guy, they're all getting their food, and they're getting their stuff, they're eating, and the guy's like hungry, and he's just like, all right, he was patient enough, and he calls over the waiter, and he's like, I ordered my food, and like, how come everyone else around me is getting their food before me? And the waiter is like, oh, your food is being specially prepared by the top chef or something like that. He saw you come in and order, or he got your order, and he's specially preparing it for you, while the other people that got their food, they got their food from basically the regular chefs, and yours is being specially prepared by the top chef, because I guess like he knew him or something. But basically it's kind of showing how like the idea of like God is, even when people around you are getting fed and you put in your order, God is working on your order specifically for you and giving you the best of the best, even if that means waiting and seeing other people around you eating. That doesn't mean that you're going to be starving, like just being patient and waiting for your meal, because your meal is specifically made for you. So again, tying back to what it said, like questioning yourself until you learn to trust yourself, because once you trust yourself and you know that in your heart without a doubt that whatever you manifest you will get, that's when you start walking in your purpose and walking in faith in yourself and in God, and everything just comes together, and you don't have to question when it's going to come, because you know it's coming. So you just do the work in between, stay patient, stay diligent, stay faithful, and keep working on yourself and staying in your light until those things come to you, and they come at the right time and divine timing, and you don't have to question it, and you know it's going to be tailor-made for you. So another example of shadow work is giving yourself permission to fly. That's another good one, because I think sometimes we as people, we manifest these things and we pray for these things and we know we want them, But then it's like sometimes you can get, once it comes, you're like, you might question yourself a little bit, like, can I actually do this? Like, do I actually deserve this? Like, I know I want these things and I know I've dreamed of these things, but now it's here and it's like, can I actually follow through with it? And like, can I do it? And you have to give yourself permission to fly, to take that leap of faith and to go with it, and trusting yourself that you are deserving of it and that you can do it and that you're fully capable of it. Otherwise, God wouldn't give it to you. And spread your wings and enjoy the ride. And another example, shadow work looks like finding your light and bringing it to the world. And that, I feel like, ties into like your purpose, because everybody has a purpose that is usually rooted in some way of you giving back to others and what you can bring to the world. Because God will never usually give you a blessing or give you a purpose that is only for you. God is always, when he gives you those with a purpose and like talents or ways, things that's going to help you get to where you want to be, it's because in some way it's going to help another person or other people or the world. That's the goal, at least. It's just like when someone's like choosing to, when you try to get your dream job and it's giving you like a salary way out of what you even imagine what you could get. And then it's like you're getting that not just for you to just like splurge and do whatever with it. It's for you to use it in a way back to others. So, shadow work definitely can look like finding your light and then bringing it to the world, because the point is, when you find your light and you find your purpose and you find a way to enlighten yourself and walk in faith and walk in positivity and shine yourself, you're not supposed to hold that light only to yourself. You're supposed to shine it for others, and not shine it in a way to blind others, but to share with them how you figured out how to get to the light and help them find their way to the light as well. So that can be various ways, whether it be sharing knowledge or sharing, steps of how to get somewhere, or anything really, whatever way you found your light and what that means for you, figuring out also how that means for you to share it with the world. So yeah, that's all I have for that post about shadow work, and I'll share it on the Instagram. I thought that was a good post, and definitely can resonate because of, like I said, Mercury retrograde and what that means as far as like doing shadow work and looking into yourself and what it brings about. Usually brings up like old emotions or like old relationships or things that you need to let go of that you may have been kind of avoiding or not really focusing on, and learning to let those things go so that you can enter into the new phase, ready to receive your next blessings and things that God wants for you in your life. And letting go doesn't have to mean like, oh, you never talked, like in a negative way. It could just be literally like, all right, this is what happened. This is the lesson that I learned from it. Thank you for the lesson, and move on. And, just ready for the next step in your life. So I hope this was helpful. And, if you have more questions about shadow work, you can definitely reach out to me and I can try to answer any questions. And have a great week. Today is a holiday. Technically, it's really just a day off. And so I'm just going to enjoy it and chill. Hopefully you guys got the day off too, and you guys can relax or do whatever it is that you need to do for you, practicing self-care, self-love, and getting ready for the rest of the week. So yeah, that's all I have for you. Yesterday was also 10/10, so hopefully, and I think earlier that week it was a full moon, so I hope you guys I think I mentioned that last week, but hopefully you guys like did your manifestation, and that you get everything that you manifested for yourself. I know I did my manifestation, and Yesterday was 10/10, so that's like a day of like the portals open for you to again kind of, mention your manifestations, and it's a way for things to come about that you've been wanting, and allow also things that you don't need to go on their way, and pushing you into like transitioning into the next phase for your life. So because we're in Libra season, so it's all about balance and getting into the space that you need to be for your life. So hopefully you guys participated in that. And yeah, that's all I got. So that was a lot, but hopefully it was good information for you. So thank you for listening, and my name is Chanel. I'm the host of Black Hippie Lounge, and hopefully you have a good week.